Hello soulmates, you're welcome back to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time of seeing my channel, thank you for stopping by, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for watching. So in this tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make this monostrap blouse, which have a keyhole neck design and a stylish asymmetric hemline. So if this one is one you're interested in, please join me while we get started. So on your pattern paper, which should be on a fold, draw your starting line, which is your shoulder line, your bust point, that is your bust line, your under bust line, waistline, and hip line. I've already gone ahead to do that on the pattern paper, so I just also went ahead to label it. So now I'm going to come up to the starting line, which is my shoulder line, and mark 7 inches, which is my shoulder measurement divided by 2. I came down by 1 inch, and from that 1 inch I marked 7 inches, which is my armhole depth. And how did I arrive at that? I did my bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5, which is 7. So that point became my chest line, and I drew a straight line there, labeling it my chest line. So I also went ahead to draw a straight line from the 1 inch I came down from the shoulder area to meet that chest line. Then I marked my neck measurements of 3 inches width and 3 inches depth, although I'm not going to be using this neckline, but I'm just going to be using it as a guide. So I also connected the neck to the 1 inch slope I came down for my shoulder slope. So from the armhole depth, I divided it by 2 and came in from the midpoint by half an inch. Then I measured my bust measurement divided by 4, marked it on my chest line. Then I connected it to meet with the center where I marked the 0.5 inch from the midpoint, also to meet the shoulder slope for my armhole curve. Then I marked my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, which is 3.5 inches. That is 7 inches divided by 2. So I also connected it together with a straight line like this. Then I came to the under bust area and marked 1 inch on both sides. Then I came from the waistline, I came down by 4 inches. Then I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect this together like this. So I just connected from the under bust where I marked 1 inch on both sides. I connected it to meet that 4 inches below the waistline. Then I used my curve to connect the under bust to the bust area. If you're a plus size, you can use 2.5 inches, divide them by 2, and then mark what you get on both sides of the underbust line. Okay, so now after connecting this, I'm just going to take my body measurement, which is my bust measurement is 34 divided by 4. I'm using 8.5, adding 1 inch allowance. For the underbust, I marked my underbust measurement 28 divided by 4. I added the dart allowance 2 inches and 1 inch seam allowance. For the waist as well, I measured it. My waist measurement is 26 divided by 4. I marked it there, added the allowance which I had for the dart and the seam allowance as well. And then for the hip measurement, I'm working with 36 divided by 4 is 9. Then I added 1 inch allowance. So after that, I just went ahead to connect all of them together. So now I'm going to take my princess dart, where I'm going to take the measurement of the armhole curve that I have there, and I take the midpoint which I just marked. So after marking the midpoint, I'm going to use my curve like this to connect it to meet that nipple to nipple measurement I marked on the bust line. So after doing this, I'm going to come to that curve as well and measure half an inch on both sides, that is below and above that line, just like I'm doing, and I'm going to connect it with a slight curve to meet the line as well. So now from the line below, I'm going to mark 1 inch, extending it by 1 inch. I'm going to extend that line by 1 inch, and I'm going to use my armhole curve to connect it to meet the armhole. This becomes the new armhole that I'll be using. So I won't be working with the previous one. I'll be working with this new armhole that I marked now. So now I'm just going to take my bust dart, which is the difference between the shoulder to waist for the front and shoulder to waist for the back. Shoulder to waist for front is 16 inches, for the back is 14.5, and I have a difference of 1.5, and I connected it to meet that nipple to nipple point and indicated the part where I'll be crossing out. So now from the waist at the side, I came down by 4 inches, and from the part where I marked my nipple to nipple line, I came down by 5 inches. Then from the center front, I came down from the waist by 1.5 inches. So you can see I'm connecting them to meet each other like this. I connected the 1.5 inch to meet the 5 inch below the nipple to nipple line from the waist, and then to the side I connected it with a slide curve. So I'm just going to use my marker to make this visible. This is just to help us get that asymmetric design that we have in the front. So I just went ahead to indicate where the buttons have for me to know. So after that, I transferred what I have on one side to the other side, and this is what I have. So now I'm going to determine how we're going to get the neckline. So you can see I'm trying to trace it out from the armhole to meet the shoulder the point where we have the shoulder. I'm trying to connect them together like this. So I'm just going to use my pencil to connect them to meet the armhole from the shoulder to where the armhole is. After doing this, I'll just use my marker to make it very visible so that we can see it well. Okay, so after doing this, I just went ahead to close the dart, okay, because the dart can make the lines to not be straight. So when you close the dart, connect them very well and smoothen them up. So after that, I just went ahead to get the keyhole design from the other side. So from that shoulder, I marked 1.5 inches and I marked another 1.5 inches after that. And then I came from the center, from the neck where I marked before. I came down from the neckline by 3 inches. Then I came in from that neckline towards the side by 1 inch. So now I'm going to connect the first 1.5 inch I marked on the shoulder to meet that 1 inch I came in from, where I marked 3 inches below the neck. Then from the other 1.5 inches I marked from the shoulder as well, I connected it to meet that same 1 inch I marked. So I went ahead to smoothen the curve so it doesn't look sharp. After this, I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So at this point, if you find this tutorial very helpful, please ensure to give us a thumbs up, share, leave your comments in the comment section, and also please subscribe to our channel. Leave your notification bell on so you can be notified when we upload new videos. Thank you. Okay, so mates, I really hope you understand what we are doing. If there is any question you have, probably you don't understand anything, please ensure to leave it in the comment section. Okay, also ensure you close your bust dart so that it can actually sit properly, and then you connect the side from the bust to the under bust. You can do this before cutting it out, and if you've already cut it out, you can make sure you do it when you're cutting it on your fabric. Okay, so now we're going to the back pattern, and on the paper, which is also on fold, I've gone ahead to mark the chest line, the bust line, the waistline, and the hip line. So my waistline, I'm using 14.5, and I marked 8 inches below it, which is the same thing I have in the front pattern, 8 inches below the waist. So from the waist center back rather, I came in by 0.5, connected it to the top chest line, and also connected it down to the hip, just like that. So from that 0.5 inches on the waist, I'm marking 3.5 inches there for my nipple to nipple measurement. So you can go ahead and mark your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 and connect it. So I'm just connecting this with a straight line from the hip to the chest line, okay? So I also repeated the same process I have in getting my armhole for the front. I repeated it for the back. Okay, so now after that, I marked 0.5 inch on both sides of the waist, and I'm connecting them to meet each other like this, from the waist to the chest line at the top. And then from the waist, I came down by 4 inches, and I'm connecting the 0.5 inch I had from both sides of the waist. I'm connecting it to that 4 inches like this. So after this, I'm just going to come to the armhole area and take the center of that armhole curve, and I'm going to mark that point, and I'm also going to use my curve to connect it together. This is me getting the princess dart for the back. Now I'm going to impute my body measurement. So from the waist, I started from that 0.5, I came in and I marked my waist measurement, adding that allowance and the seam allowance of 1 inch. Same thing I'm doing for the hip. I mark my hip measurement divided by 4, adding 1 inch. Then for the chest line, I marked my bust measurement divided by 4, adding 1 inch, and I connected them all together. So now I'm trying to get the hem design. I want to ensure it's equal. For the front, we came down by 4 inch from the waist side. It's the same thing you're going to do for the back, but I'm just placing the front pattern there to be sure, so that is to ensure it's accurate. Okay, so after that, I'm just going to come from the center area by 5 inches, and I'm going to connect them together like this with a slight curve. After that, I'm going to transfer what I have on one side to the other side, which I have done now. So we are going to get the neck design. Now we have to be very careful, because in the front pattern, we started cutting it from this side, but for this back, we're going to be cutting it from the other side. You can see I just brought the front pattern to show you that we cut it from this side. So for you to get it accurately, you have to bring the front pattern and turn it the other way, just for you to be sure of where the shoulder meets, so that you can actually use that to trace where you be drawing it from. So now we have done that, and we know that we are going to be working with this side of the shoulder. So now I'm just going to bring in the the side back for that other area where I'll be cutting through the armhole, and I'm going to place it on the armhole, ensuring it stays on the exact armhole line. That is, the armhole depth we draw should match each other while I place it well. Okay, I'm so sorry it was not visible very well, but I've done that now. So after marking that line by tracing it, I'm going to connect it from the shoulder to that line like I am doing right now. So I'm going to use my marker to make this visible after tracing it for you all to see. Okay, so I've traced the line and I just went ahead to smoothen the lines very well. After that, I'm indicating the areas where I'll be cutting off. So after doing that, I'll just go ahead and cut it out. So please ensure you watch me while I cut it so that you also cut it the right way and not cut the part that will be needed off. Okay, so just follow what I'm doing and you get it right. Okay guys, so this area is the center back. Because you know we are having a zipper there, what for you to cut this part, just ensure you cut the midpoint, that is the middle line. Just trace it with your pencil and then cut it through from there. This is the center where we are going to be adding your zipper, so ensure that when you're cutting it on your fabric, add zipper allowance. Okay, at that point, that is the center back. So after that, just continue cutting other parts of the paper. Okay guys, so I'm done cutting the back and front pattern. I'll just go ahead and label them. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and label them. So I'm going to be labeling the back and center front. So I'm going to label it center back 1 and center back 2, then indicating arrows where I'll be using to identify where I'll be joining. And then I went to add label the other side, side back 1 and side back 2. So after doing this, I'm going to take the front pattern as well and label it. Okay, so I'm going to label the front pattern too. After closing the dart, ensure you close your side dart, I mean the bust dart. So I'm going to label it center front, center side front 1, side front 2. Okay, indicating the arrows like I did for the other. So at this point, we are done with this tutorial. If you find this tutorial helpful, please ensure to give us a thumbs up, share, comment and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.